For somebody who is thinking about keto, maybe they've heard what it is and they think, okay, keto must be a diet. It must be like this fatty kind of diet that I've heard of. I saw it on a magazine at the grocery store. When I heard about it, I thought back to my nutrition book and said, like, okay, I remember something about keto acidosis, and that was going to kill you. So this might be a bad thing. And then you have people that say, I am keto. And it's like, okay, well, I thought you were Mike, but I guess you're an identity, which is keto. So for the listener that might not understand, what is this keto thing?
I identify as keto. That's it. Yeah, to your point, there's a lot to unpack there, right? There's a lot of misinformation and confusion around keto, just in health in general. The problem we used to have, Casey, and I know you would agree, and many would agree to this. The problem we used to have maybe 30, 40 years ago, there's not enough information for us to get the right information to apply it and change our lives in any kind of field, right? Now you fast forward to 2022, we got Dr. Google, YouTube University, all these podcasts, some good, some really bad. And now the problem is too much information. And when somebody has an information overload and they're confused, they don't make a decision. They're paralyzed, they're confused, and I've been there myself. And it's really not the information that's going to change anybody's life or anybody's lives. It's the application of the right information. If information alone was power and had the ability to change your life, then every librarian would be a multimillionaire. But it's not the information. It's the right information applied at the right time. So going back to your question, what exactly is keto? A lot of people say, oh, you're doing that keto thing. What a fad. It's a dietary fad. It's a weight loss gimmick. And yeah, you could do it. You might lose some weight, but you're going to get a heart attack or whatever kind of negative connotation people attach to it. The reality is this: keto is not a diet. Keto is a metabolic process. And guess what? There's nothing new about it. It might be new to you or nuanced, but it's been around for as long as humans have existed. How do I know that? Am I just making that up? No. If you think about our ancestors, they did not have food readily available to them 24/7. You think they had Uber Eats or DoorDash or Whole Foods or your refrigerator? No, they ate whenever food was available. And guess what? Sometimes that would be several hours, several days, or sometimes several weeks. So what happened? They had to have an alternate way of getting energy, an alternate way of fueling the brain. And that process is called ketogenesis, a metabolic process, the birth of ketones. So when you're in a fasted state, when our ancestors were in a fasted state, they needed to tap into their body fat, which is stored energy, and start using that as an energy source. And the liver then produces ketones. And the benefit of beta hydroxybutyrate, which is one of the three ketones, the benefit of that one, it has the ability to cross the blood-brain barrier and give your brain a fuel source when glucose is dropping low because you're not eating food. So when you think about that, it's a natural process. But in this day and age, most people, not just Americans, but most people are experiencing a keto deficiency. They're never getting into a state of ketosis. They're never allowing their body to tap into their fat stores. They're never getting into this amazing process. And we'll talk a little bit more about why this is important for inflammation and weight loss. But it's really a keto deficiency. And there was a study, and I shared this at the Keto Salt Lake. I think some other speakers shared it as well. A 2018 study that came out from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. And they looked at over 8,000 American adults. And they wanted to assess what are their blood pressure markers, what is their HDL, LDL, triglycerides, A1C, glucose, and other metrics like medication or no medication. And they determined that 88% of American adults are unhealthy, metabolically inflexible. That is insane. That was before COVID.
That was before COVID.
Yep, before COVID. So you know what happened after COVID? That got worse. So I would say 90% plus of American adults are metabolically unhealthy. They really need keto. They need this metabolic process. The real fad diet, the gimmick diet that doesn't work, is the standard American diet. That's been around, I don't know, 30 to 40 years, but keto has been around for as long as humans have existed. So that is what keto is. It's simply a metabolic process. And there's not one way to do keto. There's several. The way we teach it here at Keto Kamp is how do we reduce cellular inflammation with ketosis. So we view it from a cellular lens.